some of my favorite books or books that I've been reading. So I am an avid reader and I love books. And I am a person to say that books saved my life. And you could think I'm totally being dramatic, and that's okay. Maybe I am. But it's true. So when I was really young, I actually hated reading, and my mom would make me read an hour every single day. And I'm talking like when I think it was before I was like 8 or 9. When I really did not like reading, mainly because it was forced upon me. And then I discovered Harry Potter. And I think that was the series that made me fall in love with reading. Needless to say, I really enjoy like fiction and fantasy and things like that. But I've found good books in just about every genre. Okay, so I have some books here. I might not go through all of them, but we'll see. So I'm just gonna go through a few of like my favorite ones, and then one that I'm currently reading. And I also took out my Kindle because I also read a lot on my Kindle. Even though I prefer the physical book, the Kindle is super convenient. So yeah. I also do want to say that I love books so much that I literally got a tattoo of a book on the back of my arm. So yeah, just thought I'd put that out there. Okay, so I have, as you can see here, a stack of books. The first one I'm gonna start with, I don't know if this was obvious or not, but Harry Potter. And this is Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows. Because this one is probably my absolute favorite out of the whole series. And I remember, I think I was about 8 or 9 when I went to check out one of the books from the library in my school. And I was in elementary at the time. I think it was like the 6th book. No, the 5th book. The Order of the Phoenix. Pretty sure it was that one that I went to go check out because my family had the rest at home, so I read all of them. But I don't think we had that one. Or something like that, I don't remember too much. But I remember going to the library, asking, like, bringing the book to the checkout lady, and her basically looking at me, eyeing me, and being like, "Are you sure you can read that?" And I was like, "Girl, watch me." And I finished that book in a week. And I'm not saying that to brag, it's actually a problem. When I get into a book, I will not eat, I will not sleep. I remember one time even showering and like having the book open outside my shower, so that I could look through the curtain and read it. And yeah, it's a problem. And I won't socialize, I won't conversate. I get so absorbed in reading, and it's not always a good thing. Okay, I'll read the back. So we now present the 7th and final installment in the epic tale of Harry Potter. Oh, these are just like quotes. Oh, they don't have like a summary on this one, I don't think. This book is pretty old. This one's my favorite. I think this one and Half-Blood Prince are probably Lisa Jewel. So this one was actually kind of sad. And this is one of like those suspense mystery kind of books. I also like those like Girl on a Train, kind of like that, which that was a really good book too, by the way. I think I have it, but I didn't bring it out to show. So this one does have a summary on the back. So this one reads, "No one ever just disappears." Ellie Mack was the perfect daughter. She was 15, the youngest of 3. She was days away from an idyllic post-exams summer vacation with her whole life ahead of her. And then she was gone. Now her mother, Laurel Mack, is trying to put her life back together. It's been 10 years since her daughter disappeared, 7 years since her marriage ended, and only months since the last clue in Ellie's case was unearthed. So when she meets an unexpectedly charming man in a cafe, no one is more surprised than Laurel at how quickly their flirtation develops into something deeper. Before she knows it, she's meeting Floyd's daughter and his youngest, Poppy. It takes Laurel's breath away. there's like a wooded area, a house, and like another section below it, like another wooded area. And it's called, and it says up top, the weather finally broke for good. So this one has a short description in the back. It says, when a meteor hits the moon and knocks it closer in the orbit to Earth, nothing will ever be the same. Worldwide tidal waves, earthquakes, volcanic eruption, and that's just the beginning. And this is a series as well. This is the first book in the series. And I haven't gone through it, but we will. There's the other books are called The Dead and the Gone, This World We Live In, The Shade of the Moon. And they all have like post-apocalyptic pictures with the moon sitting way too close to us. So yeah, we'll see if I can get through this one. At least I left my bookmark here, so I know where I left off. But I might just start from the beginning. And the little bookmark I have is like a magnetic. And it says read between the lines. So I bought a set of those bookmarks that are like shiny, holographic, I guess, that have like cute quotes on it. And then I bought another set of magnetic bookmarks that are Harry Potter, like little mini Harry Potter characters. I might have it in one of them, I'm not sure. I have to check, but they're really cute. I have Hermione, Harry Potter, Ron, and I think Hagrid. So yeah. So the next book that I have to show, I freaking love this book. And yes, I'm a cheesy person and I don't care. But this one's Me Before You by Jojo Moyes. And this one, they made it into a movie and it was actually really good too. And it had Emilia Clarke in it, and she's one of my favorite actresses. She did an awesome job in that movie. So this one has a second book to it too, and I read that one, and it's pretty good. I think it's called Me After You. But that one's really good as well, and that one I got on my Kindle. I didn't buy that one hard copy. And let me see. Those are just quotes. Let's see. Okay. On the back it has a little description. So it says, Louisa Clark is an ordinary girl living an exceedingly ordinary life. A steady boyfriend, close family who has barely been farther afield than her tiny village. She takes a badly needed job working for ex-master of the universe, Will Trainer, who is wheelchair bound after an accident. Will has always lived a huge life. Big deals, extreme sports, worldwide travel, and he is not interested in exploring a new one. Will is acerbic, moody, bossy, but Lou refuses to treat him with kid gloves, and soon his happiness means more to her than she expected. When she learns that Will has shocking plans of his own, Lou sets out to show him that life is still worth living. Me Before You brings to life two people who couldn't have less in common. A heartbreakingly romantic novel that asks, what do you do when making the person you love happy also means breaking your own heart? So this one was a really good book, and it brought into perspective certain things. I highly recommend this, not just for the will ever make. Simultaneously tragic and hopeful, this is a romantic, riveting, and ultimately uplifting story about memory, music, living, dying, loving. So if you haven't read this book, I highly recommend it as well. They made a movie out of this one, but I don't know if it did it justice. Like, it was pretty good, it wasn't bad, but it just wasn't what I pictured in my head. I recommend this one as well, though. It's pretty sad. So if you don't want to make yourself sad, then don't read it. But if you're okay with that, if you're okay experiencing emotions and reading a good book, I recommend it. Okay. So I have two last books. I was gonna show my Kindle, but I have some books on my Kindle, but I think I'm gonna cut this video a little short, and maybe another time I'll show the books on my Kindle. This is my Kindle. There's like a little stain, because I'm not gonna explain myself, but there's a stain on it. And when I open it, it always has like the advertisements up. This is what it looks like, and I have a ton of books on here that I read as well. But I definitely prefer a physical copy. It's also easier on my eyes. Reading too long on my Kindle gives me a really bad headache, because I'm always staring at screens all day as it is. Okay, so these are the two books that I'm currently reading. One is for school, but it was also like not like a required thing, it was more recommended, and it's actually pretty good. So I am doing a mental health counseling program. So this one is called The Gift of Therapy, and basically it's by Irvin Yalom, and he's a doctor. He's a psychiatrist. And it says an open letter to a new generation of therapists and their patients. And this is just like basically like some tips and just advice from him and his career and things that he's come to find out. So let me read the back. It says, the culmination of master psychiatrist Dr. Irvin Yalom's more than 35 years in clinical practice, The Gift of Therapy is a remarkable and essential guidebook that illustrates through real case studies how patients and therapists alike can get the most out of therapy. The best-selling author of Love's Executioner shares his uniquely fresh approach and the valuable insights he has gained. Okay, the best-selling author of Love's Executioner shares his uniquely fresh approach and the valuable insights he has gained, presented as 85 personal and provocative tips for beginner therapists. So basically, this is just like what it says, tips for beginner therapists, based off of his years of work in the field. And so far, I haven't read that much into it yet because I just started, but it's pretty good so far. Okay, and the last book I'll show is another book that I'm reading, and this one, it's more for fun than for anything else. And it's called The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes by Suzanne Collins. And yes, it's a Hunger Games novel. It's basically like, I guess like a spin-off. It's like set in the times before the Hunger Games series. And it's really good. And I highly suggest you guys read it. I haven't finished it yet. I'm currently reading it. I actually started it yesterday and I couldn't put it down for a while, but then I had to go do stuff. And a bird on the front and the snake surrounding the branch that the bird is standing on. The back says, ambition will fuel him, competition will drive him, but power has its price. So let me read the inside flap. It has a little summary. It is the morning of the reaping that will kick off the 10th annual Hunger Games. In the capital, 18-year-old Coriolanus Snow is preparing for his one shot at glory as a mentor in the games. The once mighty House of Snow has fallen on hard times, its fate hanging on the slender chance that Coriolanus will be able to outcharm, outwit, and outmaneuver his fellow students to mentor the winning tribute. The odds are against him. He's been given the humiliating assignment of mentoring the female tribute from District 12, the lowest of the low. Their fates are now completely intertwined. Every choice Coriolanus makes could lead to favor or failure, triumph or ruin. Inside the arena, it will be a fight to the death. Outside the arena, Coriolanus starts to feel for his doomed tribute and must weigh his